ThinkorSwim is the most powerful free stock trading software, but there's a chance that you are only using 10% of its potential power. In this video, you're going to learn everything you need to know about ThinkorSwim custom-coded studies, custom-coded scanners, and even trading strategies. We're going to create a few simple examples together, and then I will show you how you can import already existing codes. So you all probably know on a blank ThinkorSwim chart, you can come into studies, edit studies, and choose from hundreds of already existing studies. I'm going to go with something like a simple moving average. If I hit apply, we now have a 9-length simple moving average plotted on our chart. However, did you realize this little create button exists here? And when we click on this, this now opens a modal where we can begin coding custom studies. For our first simple example, let's just recreate that simple moving average. Let's build it within our custom new study 33 here. First, you are supplied with a default line of code when creating any new study that says plot data equals close. This is declaring a variable with the keyword plot set equal to the value of close. I want you to quickly hammer those keywords into your head. Declare variable initialized with a value. Declare variable initialized value. I'm going to say that a lot throughout the rest of this video, and I'll explain it as I go, so don't worry, but just start to hammer those words home. Anyway, when you use the keyword plot to declare your variable, that means that whichever value you initialize this variable with is going to, of course, be plotted onto the chart. Now, something very awesome with ThinkorSwim, we don't have to recreate the wheel here. We can call any already existing study within ThinkorSwim as a function into our custom code. So as we can see here, the simple moving average study within ThinkorSwim is called simple moving AVG. So all we would need to do if we wanted to plot a simple moving average within our custom study is type in simple moving AVG, and then to let the machine know that this is a function that we are calling, we have to type open close parentheses, and then you end any line of code with a semicolon. So if I hit apply and OK and apply, now if I remove that simple moving average out of the box study and I hit apply, you will notice that moving average is still there because we have plotted it within our custom code. Now you're asking, well, how do I change the length of this simple moving average? Let's say instead we would like to see a simple moving average with a length of 200 plotted onto our code. Well, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring back up this simple moving average out of the box existing study function. I'm going to click into the cog settings of this study, and we're going to talk about this input list here. This input list, you could also transmorph the word input. I don't think transmorph. We're doing computer science, not English. You can relay this word to parameters rather than inputs. So think of these as the parameters of the function: price, length, displace, show breakout signals. In that order are the parameters of the simple moving average function. You can change the parameters of the function within the parentheses of the function itself. When you don't put anything inside the parentheses, every single study function comes with a default set of parameters. Once again, let me actually just show. If we turn back on a simple moving average, you can see without doing anything, it comes price equals close, length equals 9, displace equals 0, etc. So that is what's being plotted if you don't change any parameters. But we want to change that length parameter. So within the parentheses of our simple moving average function, I'm going to type length and I'm going to set it equal to 200. If I hit apply now, you will notice that we are now seeing a 200 length simple moving average on our chart. Now, what's the point of this code? Really nothing yet. I mean, you could just turn on a 200 simple moving average instead. So let's do something fun with this code. Let's add in another simple moving average. So within this one custom study here, we sort of have a moving average crossover indicator. Just makes it a little bit easier rather than having to turn on two simple moving averages, adjust the lengths, adjust the colors, all that clicking that I'm sure you've probably done at some point in your trading career. Let's build a study that goes ahead and does both. So we're going to declare a variable with the keyword plot so that the value shows on the chart. Now, I didn't touch on this yet, but the variable you can call whatever you want. I mean, I can call this Scooby-Doo if I wanted to. This is a name that really matters not at all. Now, there are some rules, like you don't want it to match other keywords. Like you don't want to name your variable close because that's a keyword that pulls the close data, etc., etc. But minus some very unique rules, you can name your variables whatever you want. These names are just used if you would like to call the information that you initialize within this variable later in the code. So it doesn't really matter what you call your variable. That's what you can take from that little spiel there. We are going to initialize this with a value, a simple moving average, and let's go ahead and set this one equal to a length of 50. Now let's do something funky with the second simple moving average value so that I can teach you two very important lessons about how parameters work. Instead of basing the average off of the closing price over the last 50 bars, let's look at the open price over the last 50 bars. So if we go back into our simple moving average study out of the box, remember your first parameter is that of price. If you are going to call parameters in the order that the machine expects them in, you don't have to explicitly type out the name of the parameter. We do that when calling the parameters out of order so that the machine knows, hey, this is the length that we're setting equal to 200. Because if you don't do this, then what the machine's going to do is it's going to base the price off of 200. Actually, if I do this now, you should see something funky like a line painted at 200. Because what the machine is doing right here is it's taking the price parameter, setting that equal to 200, basically just drawing you a line at 200, right? So in doing that, if we want to base our first parameter off of the open rather than the close, I don't have to type in price equals. I can simply type in open. And remember, length is our second parameter. So I also don't have to explicitly type out length equals in this instance, since we're running one parameter into two parameters. Now, second very important lesson, when you are using multiple parameters inside of a function, you separate them with a comma. Notice how we have no errors, and as I hit apply now, you have a 200 length simple moving average based off of the close and a 50 length simple moving average based off of the open. So that's studies. Next, we are going to move into strategies, which is a very exciting part, probably the part you're looking forward to the most in this video. Just to wrap up the study section, though, remember, you now have all the information you need to build basic custom studies. All you need to know is that the name of the study within ThinkorSwim is the name of the function, and then the input list of the study is the parameters that that function accepts that you can modify inside the parentheses of the function. Anyway, let's move into custom created trading strategies. Just before we do, I want to bring up to you all that these strategies do not actually place real money trades for you. So you don't have to worry about like whatever you code in this section blowing up your account, right? It's a good thing that they don't do that. Rather, what they do is they showcase a buy and sell signal based off of the criteria that you plug into your custom code, which allows you to pull this information for backtesting data, and it provides you with a report of all of these trades that you can export and, of course, provide with more automated backtesting and much more rapid optimization of your trading strategies rather than having to go and capture all of this entrance and exit data manually. So let's go ahead, and from the strategies subtab, you have to make sure you have this tab selected before you hit create, else you will create a study. The type of code that is created when you hit this button here is based off of whichever one of these tabs you have selected. As you'll see, I had strategy selected. I hit create, a new strategy pops up, and you'll notice we get a different default line of code. This one coming with the action function add order. When you have action functions like this, they're a little bit more difficult to know what to do with because you can't simply look up the parameters list from within ThinkorSwim like you can with the studies that we went over, like the simple moving average. So if you hop into the ThinkorSwim Learning Center, which is a free website, they have a list of every single one of their functions, obviously the name of the function, and the list of input parameters that can be modified within the function itself. So you'll see here the add order function, remember, in this order accepts type, condition, price, trade size, tick and arrow colors, and name. So before we do anything with this add order function, we of course have to define variables for when we are going to enter and exit our trades to plug in to the condition parameter of the add order function. Well, we've already built a custom moving average crossover study in this video, so let's just go ahead and use these moving average crossovers as the reason for why we enter and exit trades. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that study code and I'm going to simply copy it into the strategy. Now you could leave these simple moving average values declared with the keyword plot, and from within the strategy itself, if we hit OK and apply and turn off our study, you will notice now the moving averages are still plotted on the chart. But since we've already created this study, let's not steal its thunder. Let's not have the moving average values plotted within our strategy. So we're going to change the plot keyword to DEF, which is short for define. What this means is that this information is now not going to be shown on the chart, basically. These variables are now just set up to be called later in the code. Now remember, the first parameter of the add order function is of type. Default value set to order type dot by open. We'll talk about why that dot is there in just a second, but ThinkorSwim Learning Center does a great job of providing you with all the information you need. I've been coding in ThinkorSwim now for over 4 years. I still reference the ThinkorSwim Learning Center almost every single day. It provides you here with the order type data set, and it provides you with all the constants that are available to call from within this data set. Rather than buy auto, I want to set my entrance as buy to open, and of course my sell add order function, we're going to set as sell to close. If you instead used buy auto and sell auto, what that would do is also open short positions if the sell condition were to happen first, and then use your buy condition as the cover. We don't want that to happen. For this strategy, I want it to only long. I don't want it to long and short. So we're going to change that order type of our buy condition to buy to open. So back within our code, we have our add order first parameter default set to order type dot by auto. Now, we are using something called dot notation here so that the computer knows where to look for the value that we are calling. So as I change mine to buy underscore to underscore open, now the machine knows to look for this buy to open value in the order type data type. That is the only place where buy to open exists. If I were to delete this order type dot, I would get an error because ThinkorSwim doesn't natively store buy to open. It needs to know to look in the order type data set in order to find that. That's maybe level 102 computer science and ThinkScript coding. So if that didn't make any sense, honestly, who cares? Now, let's move on to the next parameter in the add order function. The all-important one, this is your condition. Why are we going to perform this order type? By default, set to no, which just means no, this condition is never true. Nothing will ever happen. We, of course, want it to be true if our faster moving average value crosses above our slower moving average value. Now, in ThinkorSwim, that's really easy to do. Now, this is going to be our first instance of calling variables, though. So I don't have to type in simple moving average open 50 crosses above simple moving average length equals 200. The whole reason of declaring these variables and initializing them with these values earlier is that they can now be easily called in the rest of the code. So I can type in Scooby-Doo. Now the machine knows, hey, this is a simple moving average based off of the opening price over the last 50 bars. We are going to use the operator crosses above, and then we are going to call in our variable of data. Now, I'm going to do something here quickly. I'm going to change the name of my variables. And this is sort of where good coding practice comes in, why you wouldn't name the variable Scooby-Doo, because it doesn't make sense when reading it. Scooby-Doo crosses above data. You start to build out complex codes. All of a sudden, you have no idea what's going on. So instead, let's define this simple moving average set to 200 as the long MA, and let's define our 50 as short MA, and then let's call in those names instead, just so in plain English, this makes a little bit more sense. Now we are going to buy when our shorter moving average value crosses above our long moving average value. Once again, crosses above is an operator. So you could use greater than, you could use less than, you could use less than or equal to, or you can use the plain English of crosses below or crosses above. Of course, the difference between crosses above and just the greater than symbol is that this now only returns true on the bar in which our short MA set equal to the open price over the last 50 actually crosses above the 200 MA, whereas greater than, it would return true every single bar that the 50 was above the 200. The next parameter in the add order function is price. Hey, if this condition is true, what price would you like us to enter the stock at? Of course, if the moving averages cross over one another, we would like to buy the close of the candle that occurs on. All you need to do for this, of course, type comma to separate your parameters, is type in close. Price data can be easily called like that within ThinkorSwim. Remember, every single candlestick provides you with 4 data points: open, close, high, and low. And any of those can be simply typed in. They are pre-stored keywords within ThinkorSwim, and it will automatically return that value to you on the current bar. It's important to understand within stock market coding that the code is ran at the close of every single bar. At the close of every bar that occurs on this chart, it will check your conditions and it will perform the actions based off of that. That's really nice when creating backtest strategies like this, because you don't have to give it like specific prices to buy at. No, it'll run, it'll check. Did the short MA cross above the long MA? If it did, cool, let's buy the close of this candle. So now at this point, if I were to hit apply here, okay, and apply and okay, and back out, the first time that these moving averages cross, we should in fact see an entrance. Of course, it's never going to exit at this point, as we have not built out the exit add order function yet. However, the next parameter in the add order function is trade size. Now, you see where this says new strategy 40 and then 75. First off, new strategy 40 is currently just the name of the strategy. By default, that is what we'll show. We'll change that in just a second. The 75 underneath represents the number of shares that is being bought in this condition. It is set to 75 right now because in my studies, edit studies tab, under global strategy settings, I have my default trade size for entry orders set to 75 contracts. Now, back within our code, for this parameter, let's do something a little fun. Let's kick up the knowledge check a little bit here to computer science level 102. You're 20-some minutes into this video. Let's have a little fun. Let's say you want to base your position sizes off of a dollar amount. Hey, every time the moving averages cross, I would like to buy $10,000 worth of shares. The first thing we're going to do, at the top of my code, I'm going to declare a new variable. This time, we are going to introduce the third and final keyword that you can utilize to declare variables within ThinkorSwim of input. I'm going to name my variable position size, and we'll initialize the value at 10,000. What this keyword of input does, if I hit apply and okay, back out, now in the settings cog of my strategy, I have an input of position size that I can easily change. So say instead someone with this code wants to trade $5,000 positions instead, all they would need to do is change that input, run the code. Then once we plug this into the correct parameter, of course, their trades will be entering $5,000 positions. When you change values from inputs, the source code itself does not change. Every time you run this code on any chart right now, you will enter $5,000 positions. But if you were to reload, like remove and re-add the strategy back to your chart, you'll notice that input parameter resets itself back to 10,000 because once again, the source code itself never changed. Now, let's go ahead and make use of this in the trade size parameter, which being the next in the add order function in the expected list means that we don't have to specifically type out trade size equals, right? So we want to enter up to $10,000 positions. The way we're going to do this, we are going to divide whatever the current closing price of the stock is into position size. Now, if we hit apply and okay and apply and okay, if we scroll back to that entrance, now we are entering at 0 time. Wait, did I do that wrong? I'm not a math guy. That's why I learned how to code, so I can make computers do math for me. We need to, of course, do position size divided by close. Wake up, Trey. 10,000 divided by whatever the current price of the stock is. Knock, knock. Hello. I have a Bachelor of Science degree, I promise. Now, this is a little crazy. We're looking at NVIDIA, which has gone through a few splits. So at the time of the first cross in 2001, the price now is at 30 cents. So we end up buying 32,000 shares, which is a little insane. Let's go look at the SPY chart instead, so it makes a little bit more easy to read on the math. When SPY had its first cross, 50 MA above 200 in September of 1994. It was trading just about $47. Apparently, 10,000 divided by 47, rounded evenly, is 209 shares, as you'll notice represented once again by this number under the name of our strategy. The last three parameters are your look and feel parameters, your tick color, arrow color, and name. So let's just go ahead and quickly plug those in. Separate with a comma. Whenever you are calling a color, that is once again a value that is stored specifically within the color data set. So much like order type, you must use dot notation, color dot green, color dot green. This is going to be your tick color and your arrow color. Then for the name, let's just have it say by. Whenever you are entering a string of letters that you would like to appear on your chart, you must wrap them in quotation marks, open quotations, by, close quotations. As we now hit apply, come back out to our trade, you'll notice it's just a little nicer. Your tick color here is green, your arrow color is green, and it says by rather than just the name of the strategy. Now we just covered every single parameter within the add order function in pretty extreme detail. So for the sell add order, I am not going to put you through that again. You all can just watch me type it in quickly so that you can see it in real time. This time, of course, we want the condition to be the short MA crosses below the long MA. Let's go ahead and sell the close. Let's go ahead and sell our full position size divided by close. Let's set our colors equal to red this time, and let's set it to say sell. Now, as we hit apply, okay, back out, apply, we should be seeing now whenever the 50 simple moving average, wow, look at the first trade taken on SPY, got in at like 47, didn't get out until over 100. Very nice. Then, of course, you see now it is selling there, then re-entering when you get a recross here, not selling until it crosses down here. And you'll notice as I try to slowly scroll through this chart, all of the buy and sell orders being plotted all the way up. Now, there's another really cool study that comes out of the box within ThinkorSwim. This is not something that I've created. This will come natively with your own software called floating P&L. As I turn this on, what this is doing is it is showing you your simulated profit and loss based off of the strategy that you have running on your chart. So you can see here on the SPY Daily, our 50-200 moving average crossover strategy, trading $10,000 position sizes, each trade would be up $32,771. So in wrapping up strategies here before we move into building custom scanners, which is vitally important as it doesn't matter how damn good your strategy is if you can't find the stocks to enter, right? I just want to touch on this. With this strategy on SPY, it has taken 12 trades. There's been 12 trades taken on this chart. Now, you can see our profit and loss on this chart. If I were to move to another ticker, like SQ, if I were to show this report, we've taken 8 trades. That's already up to something like 20. 12 plus 8, Trey. The whole math thing. If we move to Apple, you can see here trades and trades and trades. And this is the kind of information you must be gathering on your trade strategies. You must be ensuring that when you're building your trade strategies, you are backtesting that they've at least worked on static data. Now, you also have to do forward testing that they are going to continue working on future live data before you really put any kind of real money into it, right? But backtesting is so vitally important because what you can do now is you have this code, right? So you could come test, well, what if we do the 25 moving average crosses above the 100 instead? I just hit OK and apply and a couple of keystrokes. Now I have all of that information provided to me on the Apple, SPY, Block, and NVIDIA charts. That would have taken like 8 hours to go gather all of that data again, scroll through all the charts, find all the times that the moving averages crossed, write all those buy and sell entrance prices down, perform the P&L calculations and your other backtest calculations that you can now perform within the report. Would have taken forever. Then what if you found it didn't work as well? Well, crap, what if we now try the 100 and the 50 instead? Once again, would take forever to have to go through and capture all of this data, all of these trades again. The power of code is that you can optimize your strategies so much faster. This is going to allow you to build and optimize much more profitable strategies and to always remain on top of ever-changing market conditions. Because there's no such thing as a strategy that always works in every market condition forever. You have to be adaptive, you have to be willing to change, and using code like this allows you to rapidly adapt, to rapidly optimize. It's just so vital, it's so important. You all need to be learning this stuff. Hopefully you've made it, we're probably over 30 minutes in this video now, at least close. You all are taking this education seriously. You're taking this to heart. I really hope you apply this stuff in your backtesting, in your strategy creation, as I promise you, it will help make you a better trader. All right, shut up, Trey. They get it. You think coding strategies is very important. Let's move now into the scan tab within ThinkorSwim, where we are going to build a custom scanner that is finding us stocks that today we are getting that moving average crossover on so that we know what we should be looking to trade on this day. I already have a couple of stock filters set up. To do that, you click on this add filter, go to stock, and then this gives you a large drop down of different stock filters. I have my last, meaning just what is the current price, set at a minimum of $1 and a maximum of $50. I only want to be trading stocks that are greater than $1, no penny stocks, and only up to $50. Nothing too expensive, and they must have traded at least 100,000 shares of volume on the day. We don't want to get stuck in any low liquidity traps. Now, let's go to the add filter button again. This time, let's add a study filter. And from this little pencil here is where we can then get into a ThinkScript editor and begin building out the custom study scan function that we would like to filter our results by. So we want to see when the 50 moving average based off of the opening price of candles crosses above the 200 length simple moving average. All we need to do is simply type that in. Unlike study and strategy codes, scan functions, you don't have to use variables. You don't have to declare variables in order to initialize values. You don't even have to end lines of code with a semicolon. You can build your custom study scan functions out that way. But for a simple statement like this, we can simply begin typing in simple moving average, open 50, crosses above. Remember, crosses above meaning happens today, which is very important for the scanner. We want to see stocks. This is happening on today, so we know what we might want to enter today. Crosses above. And remember, since we aren't initializing that first parameter with something, we're skipping the first parameter. We must now type out length equals. We must type the length of the parameter, crosses above that 200 length simple moving average. I don't, once again, have to end this line of code with a semicolon. We're making a simple statement here, so this should work as expected. If I go ahead now and hit this scan button, we should be returned a list of results. I almost always, not always, because I do have some custom columns that I build for some specific sorting as well, but for the most part, I sort my scans top down by volume. It's actually a lot of kind of lower volume stuff on this scan today, but we do have FUBO to look at. If we go ahead and take a look at FUBO, are we getting that cross today? We are indeed getting a cross of the 50 moving average crossing above the 200 length simple moving average. And yes, I was just looking at this code just like you, wondering why there was a buy signal thrown here. Remember, in the previous clip, we were messing with the code in our strategy. We were messing with our parameters here. So let's go back in and fix this back to the 200 and the 50. Now we shouldn't see any buy signal there. Good. So after today, we should be seeing a buy signal. That's actually a very important note here to touch on. ThinkorSwim doesn't paint the signals on the chart until the open of the next day. If we go back to a chart and look at a trade, you'll notice that when you get the 50 SMA crossing above the 200 SMA, that happens here on this candle. It doesn't show until the next candle. So the second that this candle opened, 9:30 Eastern time, the buy condition plotted. Now, since we set the price in our parameter of our add order function to close, the tick here, as you may be able to see as it's inside of this bar, but notice how that tick is at the close of this bar. So even though it doesn't show till the next day, it's still gathering the correct data. It is still providing you the data as if it bought the close of this day. So it doesn't mess with your backtest statistics at all. It's just a weird limitation of ThinkorSwim in the way that your signals are plotted onto your chart. But anyway, yes, with our scanner that we've built, the strategy really does not work on this stock, by the way. But with the scanner that we built, it is returning us a stock in which the 50 crossed above the 200 SMA today. I just want to showcase as well that we've already shown that the strategy and study will run on any ticker. If you change tickers, the moving averages update, and of course the buy and sell signals update accordingly. That is also true when adjusting time frames. We're now on the 5-minute chart. You are getting the 5-minute 50 SMA and 200 SMA, and your buy and sell signals have adjusted to those moving averages accordingly. If we instead go to the NVIDIA 1-hour chart, everything has adjusted accordingly. A really, really nice function of ThinkorSwim is that you don't have to build in what data you would like to specifically test with your code. It will auto run against whatever data is showing on your chart. Now we are 36 minutes into this video. I'm going to show you how you can easily import all of the codes that I use every single day. This custom backtest study that automatically shows you your statistics within your ThinkorSwim so that you don't even have to worry about exporting the information to Excel and getting it all filtered and performing the calculations over there. It does that for you. The scanners that I find my trades off of every single day, this really nice custom dot plot study that shows you momentum of the stocks and every single strategy that I use. They are all available, over 75 different codes, all available on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. All you need to do, click into the strategies ThinkorSwim section, and whichever value you are looking at, be it a strategy, scanner, or of course studies, there is these share links. All you need to do, copy these share links back within your ThinkorSwim, set up in the top right, open shared item, paste, preview, import. Then, of course, if you imported a study, it will be here. Type in DTS. It will be in your list of studies there. If you imported a strategy, of course, do the same thing under the strategies tab. If you imported a scanner, go to this middle hamburger dropdown, hover over load scan query, look at your DTS scanners. It's that easy to import over 75 different custom codes that I utilize every single day. And listen, I appreciate the hell out of you all, especially you all that have watched a 38-minute long now video, but this has to cost money. I mean, I've spent thousands of hours building this stuff. It has to cost money, but you get access to everything for $35. It's less than 50 cents a code. And right now, if you use coupon code Treyding, you'll get your first month for only $30. Once again, that's something like 35 or 40 cents a code, something ridiculous. And yes, it is a subscription, as I am always adding and updating the codes on the website. So you remain subscribed, you continue to remain on top of ever-changing market conditions with new strategies and scanners. But as with anything, you can easily cancel with just 3 clicks under the My Account tab. So don't feel like you're locked in or anything. Anyway, daytradingstrategies.net, link in the description down below. Go sign up and become a better trader today. Please like this video if you learned something. Be sure to subscribe if you would like to learn more. And with all that being said, I will catch you all in the next one.